Why? This is the leading question for today. This is the Pursuit Podcast, episode number 1. And this is my new podcast all around pursuing the life worth living. So, why am I starting it? I want to document my journey to reach a level where I can enjoy the life I'm envisioning for myself, for my future self, how I'm working towards it. And I want to bring all the lessons, learnings, day-to-day life, my business, all into this podcast to really give the learnings and teach something. I might be one step ahead of another person. It doesn't matter what age somebody is, but anybody can learn from anybody, and the other person is always more proficient in some way, shape or form in another topic. So if I can help even a single person here with this episode, with any episode of this podcast, I'm really grateful for it, and I think then I have achieved what I want to achieve with this podcast. And it's not really a podcast in itself, it's more like a series documenting my journey, and it also is taking over the Road to 100k a month profit series over the next 2 years that I was doing up until this point. And I recorded a version of this before, but then my editing software completely crashed and the rendering didn't go well, and I already deleted the raw file, and I'm just redoing it now, just so you know. And so back to the leading question, why? How did I get this idea of doing this? Why am I doing this? Because I think every person has a vision that they want to pursue in their life, and every person deserves to have the possibility to reach this potential that they have inside of themselves. I know that I have a potential that I haven't fully taken control of. I don't know the width of this potential that I have, the height of my potential, the height of my success that I can achieve in this life. Because if you really put in the effort, if you really do the work that you are day to day avoiding, if you're pursuing the things that are hard but take you to the next level, and you give it 100%, you almost can't lose, because the bar today is so low for competition. Nobody is doing the hardship. Nobody's pursuing the hardship. Nobody's pursuing the lessons of life. Everybody's scrolling on Instagram and TikTok. Everybody's watching YouTube videos, and everybody's consuming and not creating. So that's why I am creating. And I encourage you to start creating as well, because this gives you something. It gives you an unfair advantage. It gives you the edge over the huge size of the population that doesn't create. You learn communication, presenting yourself, storytelling, video, cinematic composition. You learn colors. You learn audio. You learn how to connect with other people. I want to, at some point, take this podcast to interview some guests I find really important. And a big inspiration for myself is Chris Williamson with the Modern Wisdom podcast, because I think he does a really good job of allowing people to present their opinions and dig deep why they believe, how they believe, what took them from one point to another point, and teach lessons to people who need them. And I want to be another inspiration for people who want to pursue a life worth living and what I think is necessary for that. But I also want to share my journey, how I'm doing week by week, how my business is going, how my life is going, how I'm working out maybe, and all of those things. I want to share the journey, and there is this saying of you don't want the journey for the goal, and you mostly want the journey for the journey, but the best thing is who you can share your journey with. And I want to share the journey with people that I love doing things with, that I am passionate about, and I think this gives me the opportunity to create these opportunities, to create those connections with the World Wide Web, if you want to say so. So this is why I'm starting this podcast, which is not really a podcast in itself right now. It's more like a documentary interview style, talking to myself in front of a camera, talking to you, to a younger version of myself, even though I'm really young at this point. What I would have liked to know before, and get some insights for my future self to look back and see how far I've come. That's also a big point why I want to do this. I want to be able to look back in 20 years and see that's how Benjamin thought 20 years ago, how his life looked, what he did day to day, because you won't remember the day to day 20 years from now, but you can then look back to those videos, to those memories, and I think this is really worth the effort. With that being said, there is a lot more to uncover, and this is a short first episode, and I want to uncover a lot more, so tune in next week again. My goal is to upload this podcast every single Friday at 5 p.m. Central European time, so that you can watch it over the weekend and listen to it over the weekend, find some inspiration, and if you feel like it, connect with me. Let's share this journey and build something great together. See you.